Look at the Konark Sun Temple today, and you see a masterpiece of 13th century stone carving. But look inside, and you'll find a massive hollow cavity packed tight with thousands of tons of sand. Over a century ago, colonial administrators poured all that sand straight into the main assembly hall to keep the crumbling roof from caving in. Now the Archaeological Survey of India is drafting a plan to pull every last grain of that sand back out. If a mountain of packed dirt is the only thing standing between this World Heritage Site and a total gravity-induced collapse, why would engineers want to pull the plug? Removing it is a highly irreversible, high-stakes gamble. A single misstep in the extraction process would cause the remaining structure to implode, erasing 8 centuries of history in seconds. To understand how the temple ended up on life support, we have to go back to the 13th century. King Narasimhadeva I of the Ganga dynasty commissioned an architectural marvel, a colossal stone chariot dedicated to the sun god. The builders carved 24 giant stone wheels along the base, pulled by 7 horses. These functioned as highly precise astronomical instruments capable of measuring time. The dark stone structure towered so high over the coastline that approaching seafaring navigators used it as a landmark, naming it the Black Pagoda. But time took a heavy toll. Centuries of weather, shifting foundations, and neglect degraded the masonry, until the main sanctum, the Garbhagriha, succumbed to its own weight and collapsed entirely. That catastrophic failure forced authorities to stop treating the site as an active place of worship, turning it instead into a desperate salvage operation for the surviving assembly hall. By the time British colonial authorities intervened, the remaining walls were heavily fractured and buckling inward. The administration made a drastic choice, filling the hollow interior of the structure with pure sand. The packed sand acts as an internal brace, exerting a constant outward force that stops the heavy stone walls from folding in. Engineers at the time viewed this as a necessary temporary measure. Today, modern conservationists recognize it as an unscientific hazard. That century-old stopgap leaves researchers completely blind. The sand masks the true condition of the inner masonry, preventing structural assessments. This brings us to a deep divide in the preservation community. Proponents of extraction argue that removing the sand is the only viable path to diagnosing the structural decay inside. With advanced ground-penetrating radar and careful excavation techniques, the ASI proposes clearing the cavity safely, eventually installing a modern framework to hold the roof permanently. Opposing structural historians point out a glaring flaw. Over the last century, the sand has settled into the de facto load-bearing spine of the ruins. Releasing that internal pressure creates an immediate vulnerability. Even a carefully managed extraction risks shifting the weight balance, which could trigger a sudden collapse of the outer walls. We are looking at a direct conflict between the ambition to repair the past with modern engineering and the terrifying reality that one miscalculation will erase it. The Konark Sun Temple represents deep cultural roots and human ingenuity. It holds a permanent place in India's national identity. The decision forces a difficult question. Should we aggressively dig into our history, risking the structure itself to find the absolute truth of its internal condition? Or do we accept the scars of time and prioritize the safe, undisturbed preservation of whatever beauty has managed to survive? Whatever choice the authorities finalize, it requires flawless mathematical execution. If those ancient walls come down, there is no undo button. We want to hear your perspective on this. Do you think draining the sand is the right move for long-term preservation, or is the ASI walking into a dangerous trap? Let us know your thoughts in the comments.